Hello and welcome to your August 18th daily briefing. Today we're going to discuss how you can still receive your stimulus check and dependent payment if you haven't already. And then towards the end of this video, we're going to discuss an interesting new Senate relief bill proposal. And I have some insights on this bill. It's going to be an interesting conversation. So let's start off today with an update for that first stimulus check. Yes, there are still issues here, believe it or not. I know pretty much all of you have received your payment, have received your dependent payment, but there are actually quite a few people who haven't yet. What happened is many people received their $1,200 stimulus check, but then didn't receive their child dependent payments, that $500 payment. There was a deadline back in May where if you hadn't filed taxes for 2018 or 2019, you had to fill out the non-filers tool in time, or else you would not receive your payment until 2021 when you file for your 2020 taxes, which could potentially be a huge pain if you weren't planning on filing taxes anyways. Well, unfortunately, many people were not subscribed to this channel and missed the memo to file for that additional check. For those of you who were subscribed, congratulations and thank you. Despite the deadline a few months ago, there was a lot of pressure on the IRS to get the rest of the dependent payments to people as soon as possible. After all, a stimulus check is supposed to stimulate the economy right now, not next year after taxes are filed. In response to the pressure, the IRS opened up the non-filers portal to allow you to register your dependents and receive your $500 payment as soon as possible. This is really exciting. I'm glad to see some action there. For the most part, I will say the IRS did a pretty good job when it came to the stimulus payments. Yes, there was complications, there was some glitches and issues with the actual portal itself, but for the most part, they worked them out. Most people of the 160 million people who were to receive this payment received them in a relatively quick time period, and that's no small feat. So I got to give them a little bit of kudos there. And now they're trying to fix the problems that they have. They've had some pressure and they're fixing it. We have to appreciate that. So here's the situations when you could use this portal for dependents. The first situation is you have a dependent and you have not received the $500 payment for them and you did not file for 2018 or 2019 taxes. That's important. And the second situation is you receive Social Security retirement, survivor benefits, disability benefits, SSI, RRB, or veterans benefits, any one of those, and you have not received the $500 per dependent payment. If that applies for you, you fill out that non-filers tool with your dependent information and you will get the $500 per dependent payment. If you fall in one of these groups, make sure you fill out the non-filers tool by September 30th, or you will have to wait until your 2020 tax return to get the $500 payment. So there is another deadline, a really important deadline you must file before. The IRS says no action is needed though if you either filed for your 2018 or 2019 taxes. Your payment should be sent automatically, both for you individually and for your dependents. Also, just a quick side note here, if you personally have not received your $1,200 payment and did not file for 2018 or 2019 taxes, you can still fill out the non-filers tool to receive your stimulus check. I know some people just haven't filled that out yet. You still can. But with this, you must also fill this out by October 15th to get your $1,200 payment. So if any of these situations apply for you, I will have the link to the non-filers tool in the description of this video. So finish off this video, hit the like button, hit the subscribe button, why not, and get your $500 payment right now. From here, let's do a little bit of news. Senate Republicans are preparing to unveil another smaller stimulus relief package today, which will include funding for the post office. This smaller bill is expected to include liability protections for entities like businesses, schools, and churches. We know all about that right now. It's probably going to be the 5-year liability shield, probably not varied a whole lot from other proposals. A flat rate of $300 per week, a solution to enhanced unemployment, which lines up to what most people are going to receive through Trump's executive order. It was $400, but most people are going to receive $300 because a lot of states can't afford to do the additional $100. This is a flat rate compared to some kind of calculation based on previous wages. It seems like they've kind of realized that's probably going to be too hard for most states to be able to calculate. So they did the $300 per week. We know that many Democratic members are against $300 per week, so we'll see what happens there. It would include another round of paycheck protection funding for small businesses. This is one of the most agreed upon issues from both sides. Both Democrats and Republicans seem to be all for giving more funding to small businesses. We don't know all the details here. We've heard anywhere from you have to show a loss of 25% revenue to 50% revenue to get this second paycheck protection loan. So we'll see exactly there. It will also include funding for schools, funding for virus testing, and $10 billion for the post office to help tide them over through the elections with mail-in votings and them saying that they might have to limit service and do all this. So it's going to help resolve the issues with the post office, so then that way everyone who wants to vote can vote. If you listened to my update yesterday, this might sound kind of familiar because I said exactly this would be a good move politically. Then I look at the news this morning and boom, there it is, exactly what I had suggested. I swear, sometimes I think McConnell is a subscriber to this channel. What I mentioned yesterday is it would be a good idea for the House to do this, a post office solution along with a relief bill, because that would bring the Senate to come back and vote before they're off their recess. But really thinking about it, it's actually a much better move politically for Republicans to do this. This is a good idea because it addresses the issue of the post office, of course, which the House and Democrats are very adamant about resolving, but it also passes a smaller amount of necessary relief amid all the politics and delays we've all been in the middle of. I don't need to explain why. If the House declines this bill, this is why it's interesting. If the House declines this bill, it will be effectively them saying, no, we don't want the post office relief, and no, we don't want relief for the people. It kind of forces them to vote favorably because it is issues that they are very in favor of. However, what we'll likely see is an argument from Democrats that this bill doesn't do enough and it will shortchange the people who need funding most, when I know I'm speaking for the people when I say we would rather have $5 in our pockets than a dream for $10 in our pockets. Like, real money means much more. Pass what's necessary now and then keep negotiating on the rest. It's not over with yet. One thing you might notice about this proposal is that there is no mention of a second stimulus check in it. I will say we don't have the complete bill yet. We don't have all the exact details yet, the nuances. So I hope to see that added before it's actually voted on. But as of right now, there's no mention of it. This bill is made even more appealing now because of one key piece of breaking news. Just about 5 minutes ago, the Postmaster General announced that he would make no changes to the post office's service until after the election in order to ensure there is no negative impact on elections. This is very important because of the House Post Office bill that was set to be voted on this weekend. It basically said the post office isn't allowed to change service until after the election. But it was just resolved with no action in the House. So again, this will leave us with the Senate bill, which will address the stimulus in many ways, potentially not the stimulus check, we hope to see that added, and the post office funding issues. I'm feeling really good about this action right now. I think the relief bill will happen and we'll actually see some progress very soon. I'm overall pretty optimistic today about what exactly is going on in all this chaos. But that's all I have for now. I'd like to thank you for watching, and I hope you have a profitable day.